Hello guys, this will be a very fun and interesting topic to explore. We're going to expand binomials. What is that even? Let me just go back to what you've learned probably like last year and we'll go from there. So you probably remember something like a plus b to the second power. How is that going to expand? You had to memorize the formula that is going to be a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Same thing when you subtract, but minus 2ab and then again plus b squared. So here's the thing, you cannot memorize the formula for every single binomial expansion that there is. So if you have the third power, well, probably you memorize it. But for the fourth power, if you have a minus b to the fourth power, how do you expand that? A minus b to the fifth power, to the sixth, to the 10th, to a 100th power. That is pretty hard to memorize. So in this lecture, we're going to learn how to actually do it without memorization. Let's go. So the very first thing we're going to do is to write down Pascal's triangle. Pascal's triangle starts with a number 1. So 1 is our first row. On the second row, we're going to have 1 at the edges. And then the number between them will be the sum. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So this is our row number 1. So I'm going to write n1. This is row number 2, so n2. Now this is where we get like really serious. This is the math that gets serious. Okay, what will be our third row? Again, once on the edges. And then in between, we're going to have the sum of these two. Then next row, we also have 1 at the edges. Then we keep adding, so 1 and 3 will be 4. 3 plus 3 will be 6. 1 plus 3 will be 4. Okay, so this is we can keep going. So let's do the fifth row and just end there. Now you add 1 plus 4 is 5, 4 plus 6 is 10, 4 plus 6 is also 10, 4 plus 1 is 5. And then you just keep going. The more row you want, just keep expanding the triangle. Okay, why is that even relevant? Because listen, when we expand our binomial, we have coefficients, you see? Here you have 2. So because your power is second, you're gonna look at the coefficients. So here you have coefficient 1, here you have coefficient 2, and then at the end, coefficient 1. When you have a plus b to the third power, you're gonna look at the second row. So the first term will have coefficient 1, second term will have coefficient 3, third term will have another coefficient 3, and last term will have coefficient 1. If you have a plus b to the fourth power, you are going to look at the fourth row, etc., etc. Let me show you how it's going to be done theoretically. So you have a plus b to the nth power. We're going to have our first coefficient. You're gonna look at the Pascal's triangle. First coefficient is always 1, so let's just write down 1. Then you write down a to the nth power and b to the 0 power. And what I do next is going to be plus coefficient a to the power 1 less than n, but b 1 more than it was before. So here you're subtracting 1, here you're adding 1. One, a to the 0 power and b to the nth power. Okay, let's do an example. Too much talk, not enough action. Let's practice. Here I have 3x plus 4y cubed. How am I going to expand it? I'm going to label my a and I'm going to label my b. Okay, now I look at my coefficient. Coefficient always starts with 1, so I'm just going to skip that. Then I have my a to the highest power, so my a is 3x cubed. And then I have 4y to the 0 power. Any number to the 0 power is going to be 1, so I'm just going to skip it. Okay, 3x cubed. We settled that. Let's keep going. Plus, what will be my coefficient? After 1, so I see my n is 3, right? 3. After 1, I have 3, so my coefficient is 3. Then I have my a, which is 3x, to the power 1 less than I had before. So here it was 3, now it is 2. And now my b is to 1 power more than it was before. So here it was b to the 0 power, now it's b to the first power, so just 4y. Oh, let's keep going. What is our next coefficient? 3. Now we have a to the first power, but my b increases the power, so b to the second power, 4y squared. Then our coefficient is 1. I'm just not going to write it. A to the 0 power is 1, so again, I'm not going to write it. And b, 4y to the third power. This is pretty much it. Now the hardest part, we're just going to have to raise everything to the power and multiply. 3 to the third power is 27, 27x cubed. Okay, then I have 3 to the second power times 3, so again 27. 27 plus 4 is 103. Yeah? No. So 27 times 4 is 108, x squared, y. Here I have 3 times 3 is 12, and 12 times 16, 144. And then I have 4 to the third power, which is 64y cubed. And that is your final answer. Let's review what we've done. I do not like using the formula. This is just what I showed you, like theoretical. A decreases with the power and b otherwise increases with the power, and we'll look at the Pascal's triangle for the coefficient. So I looked at what will be my binomial raised to which power, and this is the row I'm going to pick. Start with 1, then look at the next coefficient. A gets 1 power less, b gets 1 power more, and you go all the way to the end until a is to the 0 power and b is to the highest power it can be. Okay, and then you just raise everything, just combine. It is not nice to leave it like this. You're supposed to simplify it, so we simplified it. Now let's do something more challenging. I have 2x plus 3y to the 7th power. In our Pascal's triangle, we did not go all the way to the 7th, so I'm just going to continue it. So I have 1 plus 5 is 6, 5 plus 10 is 15, 10 plus 10 is 20, then 10 plus 5 is 15, 1 plus 5 is 6, and 1. So this is my 6th row, and let's do the 7th row. 1, 7, 21, 35, 35, 21, and 7, 1. I guess you can also just like look like this to know which row you're in, so you do not mess it up. So here's like 6th row, here's 7th row, and then next row we'll have 8. Anyway, let's expand it. So 2x will be to the 7th power. What is my next coefficient? That is 7, and then will be my 2x to the 6th power, because 1 less than we had before, and then b to the 1st power, so just 3y. Let's keep going. What is my next coefficient? 21. 2x will be to the 5th power, and 3y will be to the 2nd power. Again, here we're decreasing, here we're increasing. Next coefficient is 35. 1 power less is 4, 1 power more is 3. Another 35, 2x to the 3rd, 3y to the 4th. Okay, what's my next coefficient? 21. 21, then what did I do here? Outside. Okay, so 2x to the 2nd power, 3y to the 5th power, plus, okay, 21, then I have 7, 2x to the 1st power, and then 3y to the 6th power. Okay, finally, my coefficient is 1, and 2x to the 0 power is just 1, so I have 3y to the 7th power. And we're done expanding. We can simplify it. I do not want to simplify it. If you want, simplify it, write down the answer in the comments. I just want you to get used to it. So A decreases the power, B increases the power. Look at Pascal's triangle for your coefficients. If you try to simplify it right away, you're probably going to get it wrong. So first write it in the form that will be easier to then simplify it. So do it unsimplified and then simplify, especially when n is to the power higher than 3, because then you will mess it up. Okay, again, this can be our final answer, but you can also simplify it. Typically simplify it. I don't think we have enough time and space to simplify it. As long as you know how to do it, just get used to the routine. A to the nth power, b to the 0 power, plus coefficient a to the 1 power less times b to 1 power more, plus another coefficient a 1 power less, b 1 power more, and keep going until a is to the 0 power and b is to the highest power. Anyway, I hope you get in the routine of doing this. Like, subscribe, comment. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.